Welcome TVR Universe, and in this week's live stream I'm Dave and I'm going to be doing an awesome easy video editing tutorial for you guys. We're going to be using Magix Movie Maker Pro 2001. That is a far too long word in my opinion. You should think of something cleaner, but I'll tell you what, it's an awesome program and I'm going to show you today how easy it is to use. Just briefly then, this is the program that we will be using today. It is basically Magix Movie Maker Pro. It is a bit of a mouthful, especially on a Friday, but I'll tell you what, I love this program. Now I'm going to be showing you on this tutorial how I edit one of my videos. I will be taking you step by step on sort of how I do mine, how easy it is to make a YouTube video, and you can use the same principle I'm using today to make your YouTube videos, and it doesn't really matter what program you're using, being on a PC, Mac or phone, you can pretty much apply the techniques and things I'm teaching. And obviously bear in mind it will be slightly different on different programs, but as someone that has used quite a few editing programs, you know, the principles are fairly similar, so bear that in mind. Now just before we crack on with the absolute value, I want to say briefly, you guys rock. And if you want to get weekly value and learn about video, cameras, editing, lighting, audio, subscribe here at TVR Creators. I'm Dave and I'm going to give you absolute value, and what's more important is welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, I thank you because you rock. So let's have a brief look at the value that is us. Right, let's crack on with the show. Let's make sure that I'm going right. Let's go. Right, so basically the first thing you want to do is obviously load up the program and import. You just click on that tab there, you import your video. I've just grabbed a random video that I'm going to edit today. And basically this is one that you may or may not have seen, and I'm just going to edit it not how I did before, but I'm just going to do it how I'm going to do it today. And obviously every time you edit, I'm sure you can appreciate it will be different times. I've only got 6 minutes of video here. This could take I don't know, if I rush it, 40 minutes. I'll probably make it last no longer than 30. But obviously, you know, you can take your time, make it take an hour, a couple hours. I know that some of you may take hours. And I do think the longer you edit and the more you do on every edit, you'll get faster, smoother, you'll get cleaner editing. And for those of you, write in the comments below or on the live chat, for those of you that do edit, especially if you've been editing for a few years, can you also relate to when you watch, say, a professional film or when you go to the cinema, and sometimes it's annoying, you actually start to notice little mistakes, which I try not to because I just like to enjoy the film, but sometimes if I've been editing that day, I'll think, oh yeah, that cut's bad and I wouldn't have cut that. And I'll tell you what, even on the most professional films, I can sit there and pick it to pieces as an editor, but I just found it annoying. And for those of you that don't know, I have been editing for 15, 18 years, something like that, in different ways. Anyway, right, here we go. So I've got the footage. It's on, this is what's called the timeline, and that's basically what it is. Exactly as it says on the tin, it is a timeline. Now obviously you can actually make this easier. I don't like messing with settings because then I want me to get back to it. But basically you can actually just change the tab at the bottom there, and it'll just, if you want to, you know, if you're a real beginner, you can actually just put in the clips, and then you can just drag and drop transitions, press render, and that's it. And that's sort of how you might do it on the phone, especially when you're first starting off. But obviously I don't like to do that. I like to do everything myself, and the first thing I tend to do is watch the first clip.
Okay, this is camera test. Yeah, doobie doobie doo.
Now, just for the record, I did not know that was going to happen. Wow! If you're getting value, smash the like button. If you're getting value, check out our merch. Link is in the description. Right, so we're not going to have that. So just click on it and press delete, as I very swiftly did then. But to be fair, it was quite entertaining. What's the next clip? Come on.
In this week's video, we will be blah, 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 dude.
So as you can see, quite often I can't talk. So that's another clip gone. And smash the like button, actually, if you're one of these that sometimes takes, you know, 3 or 4, if not 10 takes to do one shot? And are you a script person or bullet points? I've tried both. I find personally for editing and filming, it's far better to have bullet points. Film each bullet point, even if it takes a few attempts. But so when you come to edit, you've got a rough idea how you want to put the video together. Makes it far easier to edit. If you just literally go, right, I'm talking about my favourite forms of, I don't know, bacon, and I'm going to waffle for 40 minutes, it makes it horrible to edit. And I've learned that the hard way, and it's a horrible way to edit, because then you have to work out what you said, what you didn't say. Then it takes ages to work out when you were just waffling, to cut out bits. And something I would definitely recommend, if you are someone that ums and ahs and all that sort of jazz, cut out, because the nice possible way people aren't interested, and those little milliseconds could be the difference between someone watching more of your video and sticking around, or just going, you know what, this ain't for me, and off they go.
In this week's video, we will be discussing how to...
Right, we've seen that bit. So basically, I'm going to drag it to the end then, and I'm going to work out using this little line here, the timeline bar, whatever you want to call it, where I start talking.
We will be discussing...
Bit more.
Video...
No.
In this week's video...
So basically, I use the space bar. You don't have to. You can press play, wherever that is. I don't even use that. I use the space bar just because it's just easier.
In this week's video,
and then see these little scissors. You can press cut. Now I'm probably going a bit quick, but that's just, otherwise we'd be here hours, and you know, you probably don't want that. But just bear in mind. Yeah.
In this week's video, we will be discussing how to build your YouTube community here on YouTube.
So as soon as it ends, I'm going to click, make that little bar, and then I'm just going to drag here. See where the icon changes to like 2 little arrows? That's actually the sort of pullback bit. Now on different programs, it's pretty much the same principle, but sometimes you have different types of arrows. Just bear that in mind. Or if you prefer, you can just press the cut button, the scissors, which is on most programs. Select it again, is what you have to do. Press delete, gone. And that's just a good way to cut your film. And see it as like the old-fashioned way, if you think of actual reams of film, you know, you're cutting it and you're clipping it together. That's basically the same premise. Has not changed in filmmaking for 100 years.
Here on YouTube.
Now, I've actually cut it slightly too much, so I'm just going to drag it out.
Here on YouTube. Here on YouTube.
I don't know. I'm not going to overspend time. I might mess about with that for 5 minutes till I get it absolutely perfect. Now, just to be different, I'm going to put a logo. I don't always. You probably notice on my latest videos, I don't even bother, because a lot of the pros saying that in the nicest possible way, people aren't interested in your logo. If you really must have an intro or logo, make it no longer than 3 seconds, because people would tend to skip it. Or, you know, if it's one of these, and I've seen loads of people do it, that goes on for like 10, 15 seconds, and in a nicest possible way, people either skip it or they just go, right, bored, next video. And in this day and age, people are getting more and more impatient, and will just leave. So I'm going to put in our logo. Just because, why not? And this is just a mini one that I do if I really want an intro. And sometimes I do it just to break it up, sometimes I don't. And same sort of principle. I'm going to make it about, I want to cut it there. Now, you don't have to do this. This is just what I do. What I would recommend, actually, if you've edited your intro, render it as an AVI file or an MP4, and put it in a folder with like intro or however you sort your files, and then just import it, and that'll be your intro. And you can literally go, right, that's my intro, off you go, and that'll be your intro. Now, obviously, because this is such a short one and I like to just edit it, I will tend to edit a mini one. So what I've done here is I've made a little gap in the picture so it looks like it's blinking, especially what I do. So I use the scissors tool, I cut it, and then basically it goes snap, and it looks like it's blinking. I'm going to have to do a bit longer than that. There we go. And then what I do then is I then import... I can't remember where it is. Come on, Dave. The pressure. Under pressure. Under pressure. Right, they've got a camera sound effect. I think I literally just downloaded this off YouTube. And you can download sound effects from everywhere. Even actually in the YouTube audio library, I've noticed recently, they've got sound effects there as well. And you can download them for free. Really easy to do. You just press download. And then I personally would recommend, someone's talking about my nose itching. Must be hay fever still. Ugh, wow. And let's just have a brief look. Hello Ash. I apologise. I tend to use bullet points. Yes, bullet points are key. I'm just going to put that in there in case you feel amiss or you gone. Yes. Same. I want to put that in there. Thank you, Ash. Welcome to the show. Big shout out to her. She does awesome videos, by the way. Go and check her out. Yes, I use bullet points as well. Welcome to the show, Ash. So see what I've done there. So I basically put the sound effect underneath the video. And I probably will do it a bit. I'll probably do it a bit more. And sometimes and then what I do is then I will then cut at the end of the sound effect. Do what I did before. Apologise if this is a bit. Then I get to the end of the sound effect. Press cut. Delete. So basically it's just cutting and pasting really. It's just so that's basically, so I talk
here on YouTube.
That's probably not the best one I've ever edited. What I might do actually is shorten that and then pull that in. How's that go? I don't like that for some reason. Let's just leave it. I tend to do it better when I'm not under the pressure of live TV. But you get the idea. Or I might just not bother and I might just go straight to the value. And I actually have music now in the background, which you'll see will make it more interesting. So what's the next shot?
And I'm Dave from TVR Creators.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is...
From TVR... And I'm Dave from...
So I'm going to start again in the same clip, same principle, cut. And actually you might think, what about, you know, transitions and video effects and all that? I'll show you what I do on a lot of my YouTube videos. Sometimes I play around with colours and stuff like that. I may do that later. But I'll tell you what, all you really need is just fades. And a lot of programs you can actually click on your effects or transitions. You can drop and drag them onto the specific clip that you wish. And or on this program and on others, you can literally drag the video across and that will auto fade for you.
And I'm Dave.
And sometimes that makes it probably just easier to do, and that's what I do on here. And it's just easier. Let's see how that's turned out.
And I'm Dave from TVR Creators.
Okay, so to make this sort of play out, like, you know, make it look more professional, I sometimes have music go all the way through the video, or sometimes just the beginning. Let's just play it by ear. And just for the sake of what I've put in the... I've got some free music. All my music has came from the YouTube Studio library, so it's not complex or, you know, it's not like you can't get it or whatever. And basically, just click the clip, drag it onto the timeline, and put it to the end. I tend to put it... the volume here, now obviously this setting is slightly different on different programs. Just play around with how your timeline works. But basically on this one, on some programs I know they have video and audio, but obviously this is just audio. And see how all the different lines go up. So if you have a certain part of the song, this is something I do sometimes. I know that certain parts of the track sound better for certain moods, if that makes sense. So I know that this bit here,
about it might sound daft, but I've seen loads of channels.
is usually where I do the end cards at the end. So I edit that bit in, which you may find out later. And that tends to be the part of the track that I use specifically for the end of the video. And then, so basically go to the audio, and I'm going to put it down to -20. And this, there's no rule to this. My rule of thumb is if it's a loud song, make it more minus, if that makes sense. But if it's a quiet song, you might only need to go -10 or -15 and just judge it. Basically the rule of thumb is you just want it to be nicely comfortable in the background but not overpowering what you're saying, and that's pretty much the basis of it, really. So let's see how it turns out.
In this week's video, we will be discussing how to build your YouTube
it's very slight in the background.
here on YouTube. And I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube
And you see how the music sort of, it's all about storytelling as well. So if you see, like, you know, before without the music, it was a little bit clunky, but with the music, it just sort of fades it more naturally together.
here on YouTube. And I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube tips to help you build your brand. And if that
Value,
sounds
smash the like
interesting
button if
to
you're
you,
getting value.
smash that like button and subscribe.
Like Dave said, hit the like button and subscribe. Hey, Brad, welcome. Hail. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I was getting all scared now. Right, let's do the next bit.
And subscribe.
So basically the principle really is the same. Now, if you've got your bullet points, if you've done bullet points, you've done a script, that's fine. I suppose the principle's the same. So say, for example, you got 3 or 4 clips, so you'd probably watch each one.
Okay, so the third...
I like the fact I just stood there in silence waiting. Why do I do that? I don't know. I guess I'm just sort of getting in the mood and then I just go for it. And also sometimes, not always, but sometimes if I'm really thinking about the editing as I film, because when I'm filming, I'm trying to think how I'm going to edit it or how I can make it easier. And I find if you leave, this is just a little power tip actually, if I leave a little pause at the beginning and at the end, that just makes it easier to transition. Sometimes if I waffle and then you want to cut something, if that makes sense, it sometimes makes it harder to do transitions or to cut certain bits. Say, for example, you've waffled a bit too long, but you like what you've said, but you just want to cut maybe the end. Just bear in mind, it's sort of difficult to do unless you can really find a way to find a part of where you talk. When you pause briefly, cut that bit off and then go to the next bit. If you're unlucky enough to have... God, I'm really itchy nose tonight, sorry. If you're unlucky enough to have like 10 of each one, then yeah, that's going to be a painful edit. But I try to only do like 2 or 3, and I'll just go, quite often my first one's the best one. I like to do 2 or 3 anyway, because sometimes what I think's good and what actually looks good when I come to edit are 2 completely different things. Please feel free to comment in the comments below which one you think is better. Just be interested in it. Binge-worthy gaming! Is Magix a free software? No. I believe there is a demo. I believe there is a demo to it, like a freeware version, so you can probably test it. Really good program, highly recommend it. A friend of mine that has a gaming channel, Phil, he got it and he loves it. And I use it every week now, or whenever I'm making videos, I use it all the time to edit my stuff because it's just easy. I mean, I've used Adobe. I'd love to use the Pro one, but I've used Adobe Premiere Elements for years. Loved it. I'll be honest, it does crash a lot, but I do really like it. It has far more effects and stuff than Magix. But obviously, if you get the Pro one, it's like hundreds of pounds, where this only costs... I believe it's like £40-50, which would be about, what, $60. And what's really cool, actually, you can actually customize it. So let's just briefly show you this so you get the idea of this video. So you have your effects, you have all the general stuff where you can add text, color correction, contrast, brightness, colors, chroming, which basically like, you know, like green screen and stuff. You can do like blur, you can speed up, sharpen, unsharpen. You can change the position, the size of each clip, depending on what tracks you have. You have literally hundreds of tracks. I perhaps should have showed this earlier, but you get the idea. And you can you can actually make shots zoom. I find that quite a good little technique if I just want to make it look like a cameraman zooming in, just to sort of break up the monotony of just me talking too long. And what I like about the size positioning, I will quite often just pull in myself or zoom out a little bit, just to sort of break it up. So visually, when, you know, telling that story again. And another little power tip, actually, if I'm doing like I'm editing, and when I'm watching it properly, and I think, right, I've talked for too long, I'll split it up with B-roll, or I'll zoom myself in, and then when I watch, I find those little cuts, you know, keep the attention of the audience. And I think, you know, we're all proud of our work, but you know, if you're starting to get bored in the nicest possible way, whoever's watching has probably got bored way before you did. So if you feel yourself starting to get bored, maybe go back a couple of seconds, throw in some B-roll, throw in a little subscribe pop-up, zoom yourself in. I'll show you what I mean by that. So say, for example, this is the next shot, yeah?
Okay, so the first tip on
so let's just cut it there for argument's sake. Let's not go into massive detail over that. And we're just going to give a little, remember what I said earlier about sort of slowly dragging over the clips, pull it down in, and obviously to make it a quicker clip, and this just depends on what part of each clip you've clipped, if that makes sense. This is something you've got to sort of find yourself a bit, really. But
right, first tip on show.
So that's cut quite well. For whatever reason, if it hadn't quite gone right, I would just drag this more over or back again, and then that would just sort of mix it up. So if I completely mucked it up, say,
first tip I want to show you guys
is, you know, and that's not how I wanted it. But you probably did also notice it had a slow fade. So that might be something you want to use. Say if you're setting a scene, or you want something a bit like, I don't know, you want to show a bit of emotion, or you're doing like a montage of clips with just music and no talking, you might want to pull this right over, and that will give a really slow fade. So you might have yourself walking along a field, and then it fades into, you know, someone sitting somewhere.
Subscribe. First tip I want to show you guys is make content that you're passionate about.
So let's just bear this in mind, right? Let's just say, apologise. Right. So let's just say what looks better, right? Bear with me. So the first bit.
Subscribe. First tip I want to show you guys is make content at your
I'm going to leave it to about there.
It might sound daft, but I've seen loads of channels where they're just sort of, you know, not sure what to make videos.
Now I'm going to show you briefly how I'd edit. So say that 10-20 seconds, whatever it is, I'm going to make it visually more interesting. So the first thing I'm going to do is it goes in.
Show you guys.
I'm going to make a cut here with the scissors, right? Select the clip, go to size under effects. Whereas at the corner, I'm going to just drag it in just a slight, and then I'm just going to reposition it so I'm centered, right? So I'm going to go.
Subscribe. First tip I want to show you guys is make content that you're passionate about.
And then here, I'm going to make a cut just for myself, really, and then I'm going to import some B-roll, right? So I'm going to do some B-roll, and I've got, I think for this sort of thing, it would go well with the chin. What I call the chin. And I'm just going to bear with me here.
But I've seen loads of channels where they're just sort of, you know, not sure.
And there's a bit where I've got less light in the glasses.
But everyone has things that they're.
So I'm just going to, just for argument's sake, clip that, move it in, select it, cut, delete the bit we don't want. I've just put that cut there more just for myself. I don't always do that if I'm editing myself. I'm just doing it to show you, really. So we're basically got a bit of B-roll, and then that was up to the 24 seconds. So say before it was just me talking, and then straight away we've gone from me just talking to this.
First tip I want to show you guys is make content that you're passionate about. It might sound daft, but I've seen loads of channels where they're just sort of, you know, not sure what to make videos.
And straight away, it visually just makes it more interesting. You know, you've got the little zoom in. Maybe if I was going to re-edit it again, I might sort of perhaps zoom in a bit more. So for this bit here, I might select that and then go to effects. I might pull it in even more, just so it really sort of highlights what I'm talking about. So say, for example,
first tip I want to show you guys is make content that you're passionate about.
So I might re-edit that and make that just a little bit longer, but you get the idea. And then you've got a bit of B-roll, which just makes it visually more interesting. I highly recommend B-roll. There's loads of great sites like Camtasia, I think it is, and stuff like that, where you can download loads of free ones. But I personally think it's quite cool. Maybe take an afternoon just to film some B-roll, or when you're making your videos, just do a bit of B-roll. And then you can make a folder. I've got a folder called B-roll, and I just copy clips in there as I make them for different videos. And then sometimes I reuse them. And there's always going to be people, okay, you'll get your core fans like you guys watching now, but you're always going to get people that have never seen your content. So for them, it's new.
It might sound daft, but I've seen loads of channels where they're just sort of, you know, not sure what to make videos about, and that's fine. But everyone has things that they're passionate about.
So just for speed, I'm just going to cut this up here. Oh, I've really got an itchy nose. Wow, hay fever. I'll just zoom it in. So you just see just why Dave's waffling.
Videos about, and that's fine. But that everyone has things that they're passionate about. So make content about that. And then...
You see what I mean? So it's about storytelling. So it's like, if you see yourself like a director, you go, right, camera 1, camera 2. I suppose if you want to be really creative, you could think about this before and you could film yourself different angles. I have done that, but it just gets a bit complex then. And then you don't have that continuity unless you filmed everything with 2 cameras, and that's just more
that
footage.
People are really passionate about, or have large groups round that you can sort of tap into, and perhaps that could become where you start your YouTube community.
So I'm just going to cut it there, drag it in. I'm going to keep the, if you probably noticed, I've kept the music going. Sometimes I just have that at the beginning and fade it out, and then I'll bring it in the middle just to sort of, you know, entice a bit of interest, and then I'll fade it back in the end. It's all about how you want to edit, and I think we all have to find our own ways to edit. I think it's really important to find our own ways of editing. I really do. I think it's really important. Wow, sorry. I think it's really important just to find our own styles. Just briefly then. Got any questions, throw them in. I just want to say, I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube and video tips to help you build your brand. If that sounds interesting to you, subscribe now, hit the like button, and ring that bell, ding ding, to get all your weekly value. And if you want to support the brand, check out our merch. Link is in the description. Absolute value. And there it is, you can see at the bottom there, all of the value. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Right, let's crack on with that because you guys are clearly enjoying this. So let's crack on. So I'm going to let that music roll for the moment. So the next bit is, let's see what this is. Don't ask me what that is. To be fair, that was just Dave being Dave. It's like behind the scenes, isn't it?
Make really good content. You know, if it takes you hours or...
Now, just for this video, actually, I'm going to cut it there, actually. And I'm just going to pull it back just to... Why not? So basically then what I would do then is I would cut it. And I would scroll it over. What am I doing? Have I mucked that up?
You know, if it takes you hours or days to not...
Wow. That was actually a wrong bit. See, obviously, if I was doing this properly, I would sort of...
Take the time to make really good... Really take your time. Really take your time.
Right, so we're going to cut there. I'm assuming that most of that is just rubbish. We're going to bring this in, put it over, make it a long fade just because why not. We're going to pull this out just because why not. And then what I would do is here, bear in mind, I would add in some B-roll, probably here, bit of B-roll here.
Okay, cool. Now, if you're getting value from this video, smash that like button and consider subscribing, because the next tip I want to share with you is really important. Now, something you really want to think about is respond to as many of the...
Now, if you've got a bit of lag there, see that bit of lag?
Now, something you really want to... Important.
Now I've got a lag there, so I'm going to press cut. I'm going to watch how far it goes.
Now, something you...
Now, for some reason, I paused for ages there. And a simple option, you just cut it out. Now, we're not going to cross over, actually. We're literally just going to let it just naturally click up with the clip behind it.
Now, something I can share with you is really important. Now,
Now, if you notice a little jolt in your head, don't worry. Just zoom in loads and just pull it over very slightly. So it's literally a tiny bit. Come on. Come on, clip. I just want to do it. Hang on. Bring it over.
Now, something you... Important. Now, something you...
And if you really want, you can just pull over a bit more.
Now, something you really want to think about.
There you go, just get rid of that.
Respond to as many of the comments as possible.
So bear in mind I did and B-roll. So just for a laugh, that's what's a silly one? I always like this one. This is one of my favourite silly ones, especially if I'm talking about music. And I would always recommend on B-roll actually to delete the audio. So on this, you just go up to the bottom, press delete. Just in case there's any audio on it and you don't want that overlapping music and other things you're talking about. So I always have a bit of B-roll.
As possible, especially the positive ones, if they're asking about your video, you know, ask questions.
Right, that has no content to what I'm saying there, but I just really like that. I just want to throw that in.
As possible, especially the positive ones, if they're asking about your video, you know, ask questions in your video.
I don't know why, just watching myself do stupid things is quite amusing. So there we go. So how's it going?
Build a really positive audience around your community.
Boom. Oh, this is silly. Is there any questions flying in? Okay. Right. Okay, so basically, once you've done that then, let's just imagine that you've put all your clips together, you've added B-roll, you've zoomed in a bit, you've cut out all the ums and ahs, you've got all the bullet points in it at the end.
And as always, guys, you guys, come on, let's do it together now, come on! You guys rock!
And then what I tend to do actually is do a bit of graphic work, you know, like a little subscribe and all this sort of jazz. And then what I do, I'll show you exactly how I do this. Let's just, for argument's sake, let's just use the TVR creators. I usually have this. No, what have I done with that? Where's that gone? No, forget that. I don't know what's happened there. But add in the subscribe. And bear in mind, actually, just have that at the bottom there. And then you're probably thinking, well, that's a bit big. So we can go to the effects, click on size. We can change the size. We can bring it in. And then in my head, I'm going to think, right, it's going to be end card there, subscribe there, boom. And then you want to add in the music. So what we're probably going to do is just copy that, or you can re-import it. Just like in a lot of things on a computer, there's multiple ways to do things. I'm going to bring it up to normal volume, up to 0. Takes a little while, bear with me. Right. Where's the good bit? Where's the good bit? Ah, there we go. So this is the bit I know that does this. Right, so I'm going to cut that bad boy. Get rid of all that. I'm going to bring it in. And this is the speed version of what I do here. And then I'll speed it up. And then actually to make a nice little fade, like you were doing a film and that, you can zoom it in now. And you can just go boop, 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 boop. What? Now I wouldn't have that in there. I've got that out. So I'll be like, rock! Right, and then I'll just put the music over a bit, put that bit of foot slightly over, and then it does this. Rock! Right? And then what I would do then, I would time on my phone 20 seconds, because the end cards on default tend to be 20 seconds. I believe you can make them shorter, but I recommend 20 seconds. Just gives time for the video to end, it gives time for people to click it if they want to. So let's, for argument's sake, 20 seconds, we'll do roughly sort of like that. And that's basically that part. And that's the default theme tune for those of you that know it well. Hit like if you're getting value from today's video. Absolute value. Oh, hello. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve is a fantastic piece of software. There's a free version and a bought version, I believe, and it does have lots of transitions. Why I like Magix personally, it's just easy. It's just where some of the other ones are a bit more complex. That's fine if you want certain effects or if you're making films, but let's face it, for most YouTube videos you only want simple transitions. You just want to transition a clip to clip, or you know, like put in effects, brief, and most effects you'll use on YouTube, especially if you're blogging and stuff like that, you might do a simple fade, and that's literally all you need. And you don't need thousands of effects, unless I'm trying to be clever. And you can actually get templates. You can put in like snow and rain and silly things like that. You can make clips fly across, and you literally just drag it across like that, and then it does that. Look.
Rock!
So let's just undo that, just to show you some of the things you can do. So, and you can actually buy effects. Well, you can buy like packages within it. It also comes with a music maker where you can actually, if you want to, have a go at making your own backing tracks or your own music for your videos, which is really cool. Again, you can buy things like that. There's a countdown here that I don't tend to use, but it's sort of just there anyway, I guess. Whoa, that's long. What's going on there? Okay, I'm not going to bother that. But there's loads of it. You can add in credits, you can add in cool effects. I haven't actually downloaded. Is that the? Yeah, so you can add in random orbs. I don't know why you do that.
Now the next thing.
And you can play around with what that does. What does that do? Key things. What's that one? Okay, so there's loads of cool effects, and I know you can buy other ones as well. See, I don't even use half of these, and there's loads of them. But again, they're just, in the nicest possible way, pointless, because for most of the time, you just want a simple transition from clip to clip, so it literally just does what you want it to do, which is literally...
And you want to build a really positive audience around your community.
So you see what I mean?
And you want to build
that's the thing with the more complex programs. You have all, you know, thousands of effects and transitions, all the rest of it. And I know myself, even when, you know, when I went through phases of making films, there was hundreds of transitions I never used. They were just there. I would occasionally try to be clever and use one, but it just never felt right, or it just felt silly or whatever. Where with these, I mean, okay, you can add all these cool things, you know, boom and pow and... but I don't know. I must admit, when I'm doing my Century stories, I am debating about adding like rain and stuff like that, just for a laugh. I can't find it at the minute. Where was it? Is that it? I mean, why would... What's the... What? What's the like... I mean, it's silly, and I know you can actually buy other ones as well, but yeah. So you can have real fun with it. But basically what I like about... what I love about Magix is it's just simple to use, and touch wood, it very rarely crashes. It seems to work on most computers. Obviously you've got to have something that's at least semi-decent. That's like with all editing, especially if you're editing in 4K. But I'd highly recommend, you know, if you just want something to edit your YouTube videos, and this is what this is about. If you want to edit your YouTube videos, you want something quick that just edits what you want it to do, and off you go. I would highly recommend Magix. Absolutely brilliant bit of software. Go and check it out for £50 plus $55, $60. It's a brilliant piece of software, and I promise you, if you're a YouTuber that just wants to make very easy to edit YouTube videos, it's brilliant. It really is. And the other bit I then do, that ball doesn't want to leave. It doesn't want to leave, damn it. I will go into effects and I will change the contrast. Now this just makes it more professional. Now obviously I do use the Canon 50, so because of its lens and because of how I like my videos, they look pretty good anyway. But just to give it that extra oomph to make them look a bit better, I will just peak up the contrast to about 55, 54, and this depends if I'm recording outside, indoors, what mood I'm trying to set. And the other thing you might want to play around with is colour, which is really cool. You know, if you want to make it like, you know, red, and, you know, if you're in like lava, again, if you're doing films, you know, if you want to make it look really cold, you make it all blue. And I have done that in YouTube videos, and that's literally easy. And what I love about that, you can really make it really red or make it really, really blue. And it, you know, it just looks really cool. You know, it's got value. People are back. But no, I just think it's just a really, really cool and easy program to use. And that's the basics of how I edit a video. Obviously, I don't sit here talking about it, I just do it. And I basically just edit the clips together. I cut out the bits I don't want, the ums and the ahs, and the second and third take of every take that I don't like. I add in music, sometimes the whole video for the middle or the end. And I edit it all together like you would, you know, a TV show. I make the contrast punch out a little bit just so it looks a bit more professional. And off I go. There you go. Absolute value. So there you go. If you got value from today's video, smash the like button, consider subscribing, and you'll get weekly content that will bring you absolute value. And you know what? Thank you so much for watching. If you got value from today's video, please write in the comments below. If you have any questions about magic or editing in general, I have no problem. I'll do my best to answer you over the weekend or whenever it is that you watch this video. If it's a week later or even a year later, I'll do my best to answer your questions. Hope you got value from today's video. And as always, guys, you guys rock. Let's do it together now. Hang around for the after show briefly, because you guys rock. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Right. After show, if you've got any questions, put them in the live chat. And brilliant. Absolute value. All right, all right, all right, all right. Well, I said I enjoyed that. It was good. Thank you so much. I mean that. For those of you, if you stuck around this long, thank you for watching. If you got value, enjoyed the content, don't forget to share this video with family and friends or people you think may find this useful. I hope it was helpful. If you'd like me to do a video where I go into a bit more detail, I must admit I'm always a bit worried in case, like, you know, oh, Dave's dragging on, or, you know, going into too much detail, or if there's something you want, something specific, maybe I might make a video one day on something more specific within editing. And obviously there's much more to it. That's a very like a beginner's guide, if you will. But if you want more detail, I can do that. I'm just always worried that I don't want to drone on too long. But I just wanted to show you how easy it is to use Magic and how good it is. It's just a really useful bit of equipment. And if you want to have a go at making your own music, the music maker that comes with it is really cool. Maybe I could make a video about that at some point. But yeah, honestly, thank you so much for watching again. You guys rock, and keep doing what you're doing, and apply one thing to your videos to improve them, make them a little bit better, to make the next video even better. And I've been really enjoying all of your stuff. We got a question here. So, you said to edit out the ums and the ahs, but there's... Oh no, yeah. Yeah, I can't talk. I'm umming and ahhing now, aren't I? I know, and on that bombshell, come on, Dave. Walk by your own code, mate. No, that's cool. Completely agree. No, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. And as always, guys, let's do it together now. You guys rock!